What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It is James from Cop Logic, and this is your match preview for Arsenal versus Liverpool in the Premier League, match day 23 of 38. We're at the Emirates. We are away, 4:30 p.m. kickoff, and I think this is the biggest game of the season so far. Of course, there's one eye on that game with Manchester City at Anfield, but for that game to be as big of an occasion as it can be, Liverpool obviously have to win this game against Arsenal. I think it's absolutely 100% a must win, and more importantly, if we can do it, if we can get over the line with a win here at the Emirates, I think it makes Liverpool favourites in this title race. There is some injury news to cover in terms of returning players. There isn't anyone returning that we don't already know about. Of course, we've got the likes of Robbo and Trent back, but we knew that already. Mo Salah is back in training, but it's that solo training, so we're not going to see him still for a while, but it's very promising. Of course, he's back running and stuff like that, doing solo training on his own, so promising news about Mo Salah. But unfortunately, some disappointing news in regards to Darwin Núñez, who is a doubt for the game. We don't know 100% yet. It's going to literally come down to if he can get a boot on the day. Apparently, he sustained a foot injury in the game against Chelsea inside the first 20 minutes, apparently, and didn't remove his boots because didn't want to see how bad or to what extent the injury was. But apparently, there's a lot of swelling. He left Anfield in a boot, according to Jurgen Klopp, which is not great news. But I'm sure they'll do everything they can to get that swelling down. There's no break. The X-rays are all clear, so it's literally a case of if they can get the swelling down and he can get his foot in a boot, he can play. So we'll see what happens in regards to that. But it is disappointing news because I think no Mo Salah, no Darwin Núñez. It's starting to look a little bit thin up top, and I know we've got Cody Gakpo and stuff, but you do miss a massive goal threat from Darwin Núñez when he's not on the pitch. Even when he's not scoring, you see the amount of assists he's got this season, but it's not even just with him, his assists, it's also just the spaces, the lanes that he opens up when he makes these runs, the chances that he creates. It's going to be a huge miss, and I would like him for this game, so we're going to have to wait and see on the day for that, but that will come into the team selection. In terms of the game itself, it is obviously the big story is going to be about the title race. Arsenal are going to see this as their way back in. Of course, if Arsenal win, their fans are going to look at it as like, we're back in the title race. But I think as a neutral, you have to get on board with Liverpool. The reality of the Premier League right now is I don't think it can sustain a three-horse title race. I can't see Liverpool, Arsenal, City all in this towards the end of the season. I think if you want to dethrone Manchester City, if you want to stop them winning 4 in a row, you've got to get behind Liverpool. I think the worst thing that can possibly happen in the league this year is that Liverpool and Arsenal eat each other whilst City, just go on and win. The real winners of this game will be Manchester City if this ends in a draw, but I also don't really think we can afford for Arsenal to win this because I can't see Arsenal in this towards the end of the season. I think if Liverpool drop points in this game, Manchester City are not going to stop winning. We know that, and I think that's going to be a huge loss for the Premier League and for the title race. We want this to be a two-horse race, and I think if you want to derail Manchester City as a neutral, you have to get on board with Liverpool. The promising news is that Liverpool are in really, really good form. I mean, goal scoring wise, we're scoring like 4 goals, if not more, a game at the moment, so that's really good. Again, though, there is the caveat there that we're going to miss Darwin Núñez, potentially, which I think will be a big miss. If you look at the Opta stats there, it's one of the first times that Liverpool have actually been lower in the stats. Opta predicting an Arsenal win more likely than a Liverpool win. But the last time we seen this was actually Arsenal-Liverpool in the FA Cup, again at the Emirates. And I think probably what they're taking into consideration there is no Mo Salah and also the fact that Liverpool are away. But as I said, last time we seen this was again Arsenal versus Liverpool in the FA Cup, and we know what happened there. Liverpool won, so I'm not going to put too much weight on that. I think Liverpool are in really good form right now, and it's definitely a possibility that Liverpool go and win this game, even potentially win it quite comfortably. But I think that also will depend on the fitness of Darwin Núñez and whether he can play or not. Speaking of which, let's get into that team selection for this game. Starting with the goalkeeper, it is of course going to be Alisson Becker. Some fairly straightforward picks in this team selection because we're going to have to go as strong as possible. This is, as I said, game of the season. Arsenal not in particularly bad form themselves, so we have to go strong. Alisson Becker in goal. Let's get on to the back line, which I think is going to be an important one. Centre-backs, we'll get them out the way right away. You know it's going to be Ibrahima Konate and Virgil van Dijk. Again, strong as possible here. Both fit, both ready to play, so let's do it. Right back, potential point of contention, because obviously, as we know, Conor Bradley is in a really great run of form. A phenomenal game against Chelsea, and it is really harsh to drop him, which I understand. But again, you've got to remember how young he is, his lack of experience. We can't keep playing him game after game after game because, there will be mistakes mistakes in his game. He's not going to be perfect just yet, certainly. Also, the fact that, you know, Trent Alexander-Arnold is such an important and experienced player in this Liverpool side. I am going to drop Conor Bradley for this game, and I am going to start Trent, but I think there's potential to see an appearance from Conor Bradley off the bench, move Trent into midfield, especially if we need goals towards the latter half of the game. Let's wait and see on that, but that's definitely an option, definitely something Jurgen Klopp can utilise. Different story for left back. I think even though Andrew Robertson is back, Joe Gomez, I feel like, has made himself undroppable at the moment. It would be very harsh to drop him with the form he's in. Unlike Conor Bradley, he is obviously very experienced, one of the most experienced players on the team, and I think one of our most consistent and top performers so far this season. I think Joe Gomez has made himself undroppable, as I said. Those substitutions that were made against Chelsea, the team actually looked a little bit weaker defensively when that happened, which I'm obviously not putting on Andrew Robertson, but it's something to think about. I think Joe Gomez deserves to start this game. Moving into midfield, it's got to be Alexis McAllister in the defensive midfield position. We don't really have anyone else still, and what a performance he's putting on game after game after game after game. It felt for a while like he was sort of being put there, you know, it's not his position, whatever. We were having to make do with him there until we, you know, Wataru Endo got up to speed, but it looks more and more now like, you know, he can do more than just a job there. He's playing out of his skin in this position for Liverpool at the moment, and it's really, really solid because, you know, there are certain players, and Alexis McAllister is one of them, where they're just stepping up when we need them to. Joe Gomez is another one. They're playing out of position, but they're doing incredible jobs right when we need them to do it. So definitely going Alexis McAllister here. In terms of the central midfield, it's the same one that started against Chelsea, Dominic Szoboszlai and Curtis Jones. This is the best midfield we've got in terms of all three of them I'm talking about there. So, and I think, again, we've got to go as strong as possible in this game. So it's as simple as that for me. It's got to be Dominic Szoboszlai and Curtis Jones. So far, I think this is the strongest team possible that we could put out before we get into the forwards, where I think things are going to go a little bit differently because of that Darwin Núñez injury. Of course, Mo Salah is still out as well. So far, so good in terms of all of these players available, and I think this is our strongest starting 11 at the moment. Do the forwards all together because there's a little bit to talk about. I'm going Cody Gakpo on the left, Luis Diaz on the right, and Diogo Jota down the middle, because again, we don't know if Darwin Núñez is going to be available to play this game. We're gonna probably not know that until the Sunday morning. So for now, I'm going to assume that he's not available. At least not available to start. And I think with these three, I mean, it has to be Cody Gakpo. There isn't really anyone else that can come in. Mo Salah's still injured. So with these three, I think this is the best formation possible. We've seen Diaz play off the right already, and then Diogo Jota is the goal scorer. He's the man in form at the moment, so you definitely want him down the middle. In terms of the score, again, talking about the Opta stats, it's one of the first times they've put Liverpool lower, but I wouldn't take too much from that because I think Liverpool are in really great form. I think it's probably looking a lot at the fact that Mo Salah's not available and that Liverpool are away from home. But it did the same thing when we faced Arsenal in the FA Cup and Liverpool won that game. I think this has potential to go all three ways. I mean, a draw is the worst thing for everyone. It only benefits Manchester City. It's possible that Arsenal can get a win here, but I think it's also very possible that Liverpool can win this game comfortably. Right now, I'm looking at it as though Darwin Núñez isn't playing. I think if he is playing, he offers a much bigger threat than the front three that are there. Even without scoring, he's a huge threat in terms of the spaces he opens up. If we assume that he's not playing right now, I think it's probably a close game. And obviously, I'm going to back Liverpool, so I'm going to go Liverpool 2, Arsenal 1. But I think with Darwin Núñez in that starting lineup, if it happens, and again, we won't find out till Sunday, then I think it's possible for a comfortable win, maybe a Liverpool 3, Arsenal 1. As always, guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Get your score predictions in, get your team predictions in if you'd make any changes to that. I think obviously everyone would want Darwin Núñez in there, but we just don't know at this moment in time whether he's going to be available. And as always, guys, if you have enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you're not already subscribed to stay up to date with Liverpool, all the transfer news, all the talk about the new manager, everything like that, match previews, the lot, right the way through to the end of the season. And we'll see you guys, as always, in the next video. Peace.